Ralph Lorenz was born on August 11, 1910 in Bologna, Austria. His father, Joseph Lorenz, left Austria in 1913 for a better life in America. When Ralph's father migrated from Chicago to Plymouth, he got a job in the Daisy Air Rifle Factory, slowly sending money back to Austria in hopes of getting his family over to America and away from the invading Russians. After 7 years of hard work, in 1920, Joseph was able to send over his son Ralph, his daughter Mary, his second son William, and his wife Kathleen. Going through Ellis Island, the rest of the family made it to Plymouth with a small problem from Mary because she had the measles entering the United States, eventually making it to Plymouth just before Christmas time. Ralph's first job was selling fresh horseradish that his mother made and put in jars. He pulled his red wagon around the neighborhood and sold it door to door. This was at the beginning of his life as a salesman. As a boy, Ralph started working at the Penniman Alley Theater, running the projector and later being promoted to the usher. Also, he set up pins in the bowling alley right across from the theater. Ralph then attended Plymouth High School, excelling in English but always being picked on by the kids at school for being different. As the town of Plymouth grew, the need for a hotel in the community arose. Many of the rich and well-respected men decided to start raising money for a hotel. In just one afternoon, they managed to raise $300,000 to build a hotel. Ralph's dream would be to one day own that hotel. Ralph then attended Michigan State Normal College, now known as Eastern Michigan University. This is where he met his wife, Mabel Donna. After attending Michigan State Normal College for 5.5 years, Ralph left college without a degree because at the time only degrees were awarded in teaching. Ralph knew that he didn't want to be a teacher, and he did not complete his student teaching. He left school and worked in Plymouth's haberdashery clothing store until 1937, when he was asked to run the hotel. As Ralph was running the hotel, he had his first child, Staten, in 1940. A few years down the road, Sheila, their second child, was born in 1943. But just 3 short weeks after, Ralph had to enlist in the Navy as a supply officer. Being stationed in numerous islands near the Philippines, serving tens of thousands of soldiers, Ralph would have to do basic labor work unloading boxes and cook for all the men, all while being shot at. For the 2 years Ralph was gone at war, he would send a collection of letters back and forth to Mabel, now adding up to 3 books full of handwritten letters. As Ralph went back to his day-to-day life at the hotel, he slowly bought up the other stockholders in hopes of being the single owner of the hotel. While doing so, Ralph and Mabel had 4 children: Kirk in 1946, Rick in 1948, Scott in 1956, Randy in 1958. In 1964, Ralph achieved his goal of being the single owner of the hotel. While in the midst of owning the hotel, Plymouth was a dry town and no hard liquor was allowed to be sold at the time. Ralph had been fighting this law for a long time until finally, after numerous ballots, he gained the support of the townspeople, and Plymouth had been allowed to sell alcohol ever since. As the community of Plymouth grew, so did the hotel. Ralph expanded the facility with new sleeping and dining rooms. With this expansion came the necessity of expanding the parking lot for the hotel. Ralph began purchasing small houses that were on Main Street across from the hotel, along with several office buildings. He often kept the houses, renting them to tenants on a monthly basis. The surrounding area became extra parking for the city required for the hotel. The entire area across the street from the hotel later was named Lorenz Square. In 1965, Ralph's only daughter, Sheila, became engaged. With no place large enough for the wedding reception, Ralph renovated the upstairs of one of the offices, which had been used for many activities, including an old bowling alley. Now, 50 years later, many families have celebrated their wedding in what is now known as the Mayflower Meeting House Grand Ballroom. After Fred and Sheila's wedding was a success, Ralph decided to slow things down a bit. He sold the Mayflower to his 2 youngest sons, Scott and Randy. After this, living out his life in Plymouth, Michigan, until his death in August of 1992, now residing in Riverside Cemetery.